Hello to everyone. In this lesson, we will discuss the importance of communicating with stakeholders, by what methods and tools it can be achieved, and we will give you some tips to develop a good relationship with the stakeholders of your project. A stakeholder is a person or a group of people who share a common interest in a project. Anyone who affects or is affected by a project or organization. Each stakeholder has different interests and demands, and you should communicate with them through appropriate tools. Learning how to communicate with stakeholders is an important skill. The importance of stakeholders is significant. They can support your business and contribute financially. One of the main reasons a project can fail is that stakeholder communication has been mismanaged. Knowing how to communicate with stakeholders is an important part of stakeholder project management. Stakeholders are internal and external people who have an interest in your project. These include employees, owners, customers, shareholders, investors, suppliers, partners, creditors, unions, and government. With each of them, you should communicate differently depending on the interest. You are going to understand what technique of communication they prefer. There is no general rule, but tailoring messages to each stakeholder contributes to better understanding. Success in project management also results from the ability to communicate effectively with stakeholders. And do not forget about the main requirements, transparency and accuracy of communicating with them. Stakeholder engagement takes place in several stages. First, you need to identify the stakeholders. The process includes stakeholder engagement, monitoring and evaluating their engagement, and finally, getting their feedback. From their response, you should submit activities related to stakeholder engagement in your business. Identifying stakeholders at an early stage can help you fulfilling the project. Usually, the stakeholders should be identified before the project begins. As mentioned, communication with stakeholders is done in different ways depending on preferences. These may include email updates, monthly progress reports, focus groups, presentations, meetings, surveys, product launches, content access, public appearances, business lunches, and community meetings. Effective stakeholder management has its own benefits and can help build trust, better relationships, better budgeting, make faster decisions, and keep them informed. At the same time, effective communication with stakeholders contributes to the development of your project. Some stakeholders play an active role in every stage of the project and communicate their interests clearly and often. There may be some stakeholders who are less directly involved, but their feedback is also important. Others may prefer not to be involved, but still expect to receive reports or updates. You need to provide means and tools for stakeholders to contact you about the project based on their area of interest. This could be as simple as answering phone calls, asking for feedback after an email, or organizing video meeting with multiple stakeholders. It can also involve meeting in person. And finally, we'll give you some tips on how to communicate with stakeholders effectively. The first tip is to inform them periodically and regularly. Either you use email or a newsletter, it will keep them up to date on what you are doing and show that they are important to your project. The second tip is to regularly inform yourself of what activities your stakeholders are up to. Keep up to date with all the changes that are happening so you will know about their needs. This will establish your relationship and help model your project goals. For example, if you learn that one of the key stakeholders requires your project to meet certain criteria, ensure that this is discussed and included in your plan, and then contact stakeholders to consult them. And the third tip is to keep in touch with them. Either you meet them at events or invite them to your meetings or exhibitions. All this information and advices will help you identify your own tools and ways to communicate effectively with your stakeholders so that your business can thrive. Thank you for watching. See you.